Hello and welcome to Historyline English. I am so glad you are here with me today. Please, sit in a comfortable chair. Take a slow, easy breath. Today, I want to tell you a true story. It is the story of a girl who found light in the dark. Her name was Marie Curie. Maybe you know her name. She was one of the greatest scientists the world has ever seen. But her life was not easy. She was told many times, "No, you cannot do this. You are a woman. Science is not for you." She did not listen. She kept going. She found a light that no one had seen before. And that light still shines today. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a little girl. She is maybe 5 years old. She lives in a city called Warsaw, a long, long time ago. The year is 1872 or so. Her name is Maria. Maria Sklodowska. That is a difficult name, but I will help you. Skłodowska. It sounds like Skodowska. You can just call her Little Maria. She lives with her mother, her father, and her brothers and sisters. Her father is a teacher. He teaches physics and mathematics. That means he teaches about how the world works. Why do things fall? Why does water freeze? He loves his work. At home, he keeps many beautiful things. Glass tubes. Small tools to measure things. Shiny metal objects. Little Maria loves to look at these things. She looks at them for a long, long time. She does not touch them because her father says they are special. But her eyes are big. She wants to know, what are these? How do they work? Why? This is Maria. She wants to understand everything. She goes to school. She is very, very good at school. She can read when she is only 4 years old. She remembers everything. The teachers say, this girl is different. She is very clever. But there is a big problem. In those days, the country of Poland was not free. A big country called Russia controlled it. The Russian leaders made the rules. And one rule was, girls cannot go to university. You see, after school, boys can go to university. They can learn more. They can become doctors, lawyers, scientists. Girls? No. Not because they are not smart. Only because they are girls. It is a wall. A big, heavy wall. Maria sees the wall, and her heart hurts. But she is not a girl who stops. She says to herself, if there is no door, I will find another way. And she did. Maria and her friends made their own school. They called it the Floating University. Do you know the word, floating? It means moving on water, not staying in one place. This school moved from one home to another. One week, they had class in a kitchen. The next week, in a small room behind a shop. They moved all the time so the police would not find them. It was dangerous. If the police found them, they could go to prison. But they kept learning. They read books. They taught each other. Can you see them? A group of young women, quiet, serious, hungry for knowledge, learning in secret. They had no big building, no famous teachers, just their own minds and their own courage. Maria had a sister named Bronia. Bronia was also very smart. She wanted to be a doctor. But in Poland, women could not be doctors. So Maria and Bronia made a plan. A pact, a serious promise between sisters. The plan was this: Maria would work to send money to Bronia. Bronia would go to Paris, in France, and study medicine at a great university there. Then, when Bronia became a doctor, she would send money back to Maria. And Maria could go to Paris and study too. It was a plan of waiting and giving. Maria was ready. She left her home and went to work as a governess. What is a governess? A governess is a woman who lives with a family and teaches their children. She was far from Warsaw, far from her family. For 5 long years. 5 years. Every day, she taught other people's children. She was patient. She was kind. But at night, when the children slept and the house was silent, Maria opened her own books. Mathematics. Physics. Chemistry. She read and read. She wrote letters to Bronya, "Please send me more books. What should I learn next?" She had no teacher. She had no classroom. But she had a fire inside her that would not go out. She was preparing for a future she could only dream of. And finally, when she was 24 years old, Maria got on a train. The train went to Paris. It was the year 1891. Paris. A city of light, of art, of science. The Sorbonne University was there, one of the best universities in the world. And the Sorbonne said yes to women. Maria carried a small bag. Inside, she had her books and her hope. When she arrived, she did something small but important. She changed her name. Maria, the Polish name, became Marie, the French name. She did not forget who she was. She just stepped into a new life. But life in Paris was very hard. Marie lived in a tiny room. It was cold. Very cold. In winter, the water in her washing bowl turned to ice at night. She had almost no money. Some days she ate only bread and drank a little tea. Sometimes she felt so weak from hunger that she could not stand in class. But she stayed. She sat in the great university hall. She was often the only woman in the room. Some men looked at her in a strange way. "Why is she here?" their eyes said. But Marie only looked at the board. She wrote in her notebook. She worked harder than almost everyone. In 1893, she finished her degree in physics. She was number 1 in her class. 1 year later, she finished a second degree in mathematics. She was number 2 in her class. Think about that. She was hungry. She was cold. She worked in a language that was not her first language. And she was the best. The girl who could not go to university in her own country became a star in Paris. It was in Paris that Marie met a man named Marie Curie. He was a physicist too, a quiet, gentle man. They started to talk about science. Then they talked about everything. They fell in love. In 1895, they married. The wedding was simple. Marie wore a dark blue dress. Not white. Why? She said, "I do not want a dress I can wear only once. I want a dress I can also wear in my laboratory." That little detail tells you a lot about Marie Curie. She was practical. She loved science more than beautiful clothes. Together, they worked in a laboratory. But it was not a nice laboratory. It was an old, damp room. The walls were wet. The roof was low. In winter it was freezing, in summer it was too hot. It was not a place for great science. But they did not care. They were looking at something very strange. A man named Henri Becquerel had found that some rocks give off invisible rays. Invisible means you cannot see it. These rays could pass through solid things. Nobody knew why or how. Marie wanted to understand. She started to test many different materials. And then, she saw something wonderful. The invisible rays did not come from two things mixing together. They came from deep inside the atoms of the material itself. It was a power hidden in the heart of the matter. No one had imagined this before. Marie gave this power a name, radioactivity. The word comes from Latin. Radius means ray, and activity means something that is always working. Radioactivity, it is always sending out rays. This word was her gift to the world. Then, in 1898, Marie and Pierre made a big discovery. They found not one, but two new elements. An element is a basic material, like iron, gold, or oxygen. These two had been hiding in a dark rock called pitchblende. The first new element, Marie named polonium. She took the name from Poland, her home country. Remember, Poland was still not free. It was not on the map. By naming the element polonium, Marie was saying to the world, Poland is here. We exist. We matter. The second element she named radium. Radium gave off a gentle, beautiful blue light. In their dark, cold laboratory at night, Marie and Pierre could see it glowing on the shelves. It was light that no one had ever seen before. Light born from invisible work. But to prove their discovery, they needed to get pure radium. Pure means completely clean, with nothing else mixed in. They bought tons and tons of that dark rock, pitchblende. For 4 years, they worked. They stirred big pots. They filtered. They carried heavy containers. They breathed bad air. It was hard physical work. Slowly, from thousands of kilograms of ordinary rock, they got a tiny, tiny bit of radium. So small you could hold it on a spoon. But it glowed. It was real. In 1903, something amazing happened. Marie Curie received the Nobel Prize in Physics. The Nobel Prize is one of the highest honors in the world. She shared it with Pierre and Henri Becquerel. Marie was the first woman ever to win a Nobel Prize. The world finally saw her. The girl from Warsaw who was told no now heard yes, you are great. But then, sadness came. In 1906, on a rainy day, Pierre was walking in a Paris street. A heavy horse carriage moved too fast. The road was wet and noisy. Pierre did not see it. The carriage hit him, and he died. Just like that. Marie lost her partner, her best friend, the man who believed in her completely. Her world went dark. For a long time, she was lost in grief. But she did not stop. The university gave her Pierre's job as a teacher. She said yes. And when she walked into the lecture hall for the first time, many people came to see her. They wanted to watch the first woman professor at the Sorbonne. She sat down. She opened her notes. And she began to speak from the very sentence where Pierre had stopped his last lecture. She continued his words, as if keeping his light alive. The room was silent. Then, in 1911, she won a second Nobel Prize. This time, in chemistry. For polonium and radium. She is still the only person in all of history to win 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences. But even after that, the French Academy of Sciences, a big group of important scientists, said no to her. They voted. She lost by 1 vote. Because she was a woman. The old wall was still there. But Marie did not fight with anger. She fought with her work. Then a big war came. The First World War. Marie wanted to help. She designed special cars with X-ray machines inside. X-rays can see inside the human body. They can find broken bones. She called these cars petites Curies, little Curies. She drove them herself to the front lines, where soldiers were hurt. She trained nurses to use the machines. It is believed that her mini Curies helped more than 1 million injured soldiers. 1 million people. All because a woman who was told, you cannot do science, decided to use her science to save lives. Marie Curie died in 1934. She was 66 years old. Her sickness came from the very thing she discovered. Radioactivity. She spent years near radium without knowing it could harm her. Her body became ill because of those invisible rays. Her notebooks, even today, are still radioactive. You cannot touch them without protection. They are kept in lead boxes to stop the rays. Lead is a heavy metal that blocks the energy. The polonium she named for her country is now on a big chart called the periodic table of elements. Every chemistry student in every country learns it. The girl from a not-free Poland put her country on the map of science forever. Now, my friend, let me talk directly to you. Marie Curie worked for years in the cold and the dark. She did her quiet work with no big noise, no fame. She had many reasons to stop. But she didn't. She kept going, one small step after another. You are learning English. Maybe it feels hard. Maybe today a word was difficult. Maybe you feel you are in the dark a little, and the goal is far away. I want to tell you, every new word you learn is a little light. Every time you listen to a story in English and understand a little more, that is a light. Every sentence you speak, even if it is not perfect, that is a light. You are doing something amazing. You are building something real, a new skill, a new door for your future. Marie Curie said, "Life is not easy for any of us." But what of that? We must have perseverance and, above all, confidence in ourselves. Perseverance means keep going. Confidence means believe in yourself. You have that. I see it because you are here, studying, improving. So keep listening. Keep learning. Keep glowing. This is Historyline English. I am glad we shared this story together. Come back soon for another true story. Until then, take care of yourself, and never stop.